Hey everyone, Happy New Year. Welcome to a flow to start your year fresh with me, Demi, and this is Lil Mama. Today, this is going to be a beginner focus sequence. I am going to be breaking down the postures a little bit longer. So if you're someone who's a little more intermediate or advanced in your practice, feel free to add on, challenge yourself, find different variations maybe as I'm working through the alignment cues. You might need 2 blocks. We have a pyramid, if that's something that you want blocks down at the front of your mat for. So we're gonna get started on our back today. So gently make your way there and find a happy baby to begin with. So that might mean that you need to hug your knees in and then to open your knees out and find your happy baby. But essentially grasping the outside edges of your feet, drawing your lower back down into the mat and your knees to the side of your body. And maybe you find a gentle sway side to side here just to begin with. Opening up the hips, breathing deep, coming into your practice. And this posture might be a little intense to begin with, but it's important that we just open up. Let gravity do its thing to find release through the hip space. During this holiday period, maybe you've been sitting a lot, not super mobile and active. So we're just going to wake up the body for about a minute here. And feel free to hug the knees in and then come back into your happy baby if you need. This is going to be a great sequence for if you're new to yoga, maybe starting your journey here. Or maybe even you're quite advanced and you just need to come back to basics, take something a little slower, something a bit more controlled, and focus on your breath and body, your form. And gently, as you settle into this posture, let's find a few deep breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh, and release out through the mouth. One more inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh, and release out through the mouth. And if you work with Ujjayi breathing, now is the time to engage that, sealing off the lips, finding that deep oceanic sounding breath and that constriction in the back of your throat here. If you're new to Ujjayi breathing, feel free to find a couple moments to play around with it, right? Sometimes we don't really understand what it is when an instructor says, all right, Ujjayi breathing time. So take a couple moments to play around with it here. Deep belly breathing. You might be able to hear Little Mama purring in the mic. All right, Mama. All right, when you're ready, remove your cap from your happy baby and hug the knees into the chest. Find a nice little rebound. Shift side to side and really squeeze the knees together here, right? So we've been opening through the hips and the pelvis. Let's really rebound, push everything together. Inhale, long body stretch, send the legs and arms long, maybe even arch of the spine, roll out through the ankles, roll out through the wrists. Big breath in. And exhale, leave your left leg long, hug your right knee into the chest, interlace the hands around the knee and draw your forehead up to the knee. It doesn't need to be super deep, you don't need to be touching. Take an inhale here. Exhale, change out the legs, let right leg go long, hug left knee in. If you're a little more intermediate, maybe you'd like to hover your long leg. Take an inhale. Exhale, change legs. Inhale here. Exhale, change legs. Inhale. Exhale, switch. Inhale. Exhale, switch. One more each side. Inhale here. Exhale, switch. One more, inhale. Exhale, switch. Hug both knees in, rock and roll your way up to seated. Just a cross-legged position is okay for now. I'll face you. You can face wherever you'd like on your mat. Cross one foot in front of the other. Send the crown of the head long. So you're rooting into your sits bones, drawing your knees down to the side of the mat and your crown of your head up to the ceiling, right? Drop your hands down onto the knees to begin with. Take a big breath in. Exhale, sigh, and sink into your mat without compromising your spine's shape. One more inhale. And on your exhale, can you release and draw your rib cage in, activating your abdominals. Take your right hand down to the right side of the mat. Left hand sweeps up and over. Gaze up to the left side. Try not to dump down into your right side body. Stay strong through your right oblique, pulling you up and out of the side bend. Find your inhale. Exhale, let's change sides. Left hand comes down, right hand sweeps up. Gaze up to the ceiling. Knit the rib cage in. Open the chest up towards the sky, just a tiny little bit more. Draw the shoulder blades away from your ears. Inhale. Exhale, change sides. Right hand comes down, left hand sweeps up. Keep breathing. Stay strong. Find your inhale. Exhale, left side. Did Sheila just lick my toes? Gaze up to your right hand. Just one more breath here. And when you're ready, take your inhale, neutral tabletop, crown of the head towards the top of your mat. Send your tailbone long. In our neutral tabletop this morning, let's just find a little moment to wiggle out, forwards and backwards, side to side, through the wrists, through the palms, wake up, through the arms. Bring your knees hip width apart, tracking directly under your hip points. Your wrists are underneath your shoulders, and you're sending your elbows back towards your knees, right? Slight protraction, which is rounding through the shoulder blades as you push your tailbone back. You can draw your navel in slightly to find a little ab engagement. Try and release any tension from the traps in the neck by sending the crown of the head long. Feel stable here. Weight is in the palm of the hand. We find 2 rounds of cat-cow. Inhale drops the belly, lift the chest, gaze comes upwards. Shine the heart through the shoulders. Exhale, cat pose, round through the spine. Tuck the pelvis in towards the hip points as you protract the shoulders even more, really rounding through the spine. Let the head hang heavy. Inhale, cow. Shine everything forward. Exhale, cat, press up and away. Tuck everything in, round, and a deeper press through the palms. Inhale, just come back to neutral. Shake it out. Send your right arm long, bicep by the ear. We're going to take some arm circles here just to wake up through the shoulders, find some mobility. So right arm is long, fingertips to the top of the mat. Exhale as you sweep the fingertips out and long. Take everything behind you, and then we're going to sweep it through our tabletop. Fingertips reach forward. So 2 more of those. Exhale as it comes round behind you. Inhale through your tabletop forward. 1 more. Exhale. And take it forward. Let's take 3 going the opposite direction so it sweeps through. Back behind you long, reach around. Pinkies point down and we sweep through. 2 more. Take these nice and controlled, opening through the shoulder. Last one. Biceps reach long by the ears and right hand plants down. Take a shift if you need, release through the left shoulder, and then we sweep left arm long, bicep by the ear, pinky tips point down to the mat. Inhale, exhale, sweep everything long laterally behind you, and take it through your tabletop. Reach your bicep by the ear, take it out behind you. Forwards, last one. Reach it long. We reverse our circle, take it down through your tabletop. Reach long behind you, out and around. 2 more. Last one. Avoid your tree on the side and come down to your tabletop. So we're going to do the same thing with our legs now to open up through our hips. You're going to find a fire hydrant with your right knee. So send your right knee out 90 degrees behind you. You're going to rotate your hip and knee back behind you. Square off the hips. Draw the knee into the nose. Fire hydrant, take it out to the side, back behind you. Knee to nose. Fire hydrant. Rotate it back and around. Knee to nose. Let's reverse. Take it back behind you, engage the glute in that donkey kick, fire hydrant. Draw it in, 2 more going backwards. Final one. And place it back down, neutral tabletop. Final side, left side. Find your fire hydrant to begin with. Engage through the glutes. We go back around. Engage at the top, donkey kick. Draw knee to nose, left side, fire hydrant. Back and around. Knee to nose, fire hydrant, back and around. Last one. And when you find your knee to nose, reverse. Take it back to the donkey kick stance. Fire hydrant, draw it in. Back behind you, out and around. Last one, back behind you, out and around. Tabletop, shake it out if you need. Downward facing dog. Tuck under your toes. Keep your knees bent as you press back to a downward facing dog. Think about your booty and your sits bones going back first while keeping your knees bent. So ground down through the palms, rotate your triceps back towards the back of the mat. Bend through the knees, lift yourself up. Keep pressing that booty, booty, booty high as you begin to lengthen out the legs. Now you can keep your knees bent as little or as much as you need in a downward facing dog. The goal is to keep your spine nice and long. Round through the shoulders slightly. Our triceps are still pressing back towards you to help open up and splay the shoulder blades wide. And if that means the knees need to be quite bent, let it be so. If you can lengthen out through your legs, feel free to find that mobility. Maybe you can lift the toes off the mat. But I do encourage coming into your downward facing dog from that bent knee position just to make sure that you're feeling into the correct alignment. You're setting up the posture strong. And from there you can lengthen out. Ground down through the fingertips, press the mat away with the palms. Lift the kneecaps high and then knit the rib cage in together and draw the chest through the biceps. Inhale, lift high onto the toes. Exhale, draw it down. One more, inhale, high onto the toes. Exhale, draw it down. Inhale, high plank, roll your way forward. Big protraction through the shoulder blades. Press the mat away with the palms. Squeeze the thighs together here. Press the hip bones down towards the mat, but not so far that your back collapses. Inhale here. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. You can come through a kneeling position if that feels a little more comfortable and safe for you through the shoulders and the elbows. Separate your feet slightly, Sphinx pose. Drop your forearms down to the mat. Elbows underneath the shoulders and shine the heart forwards. Draw your elbows back to the midline of the body. Opening up through the collarbones. One more breath here, inhale. And exhale, take your left hand into the center line. Draw your right heel towards your glute. You can stay here and keep it nice and active, or you can sweep your right hand around, grab hold of your right foot and draw your heel in towards the glute a little more. The goal here is to open up through the right shoulder and through the right hip flexor, the quad, opening up through the front of the body. Inhale, exhale, release. Gently let your right leg go. Change out your arms. Right arm comes into center. Left hand sweeps up and around. Grab hold of the left foot, or maybe find that active posture. Open up through your left shoulder, your left hip flexor. Pressing the hips down into the mat. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, release. Let it go. All right, ground down through the palms, tuck under your toes. Child's pose, press down through the palms. Wave yourself up and back. Hips press towards the heels, fingertips reach long. Let the head drop down. Just 2 breaths here. Releasing through the lower spine, let the shoulder blades drop open. Final breath. And on your inhale, downward facing dog, tuck under the toes. Keep the knees bent. Find that alignment and position as you ping the tailbone high. Sends the sits bones up towards the ceiling and rotate your triceps back. Find your down dog alignment, just as strong as the first one we took. Inhale, lift high onto the toes. Exhale, ragdoll. Top of your mat, baby step, walk all the way, feet in towards the hands. Feet come hip width apart.
We shift the weight into the ball mounts of the feet and let the head hang heavy. You can keep your fingertips grounded. You can keep your knees super, super bent in this position. Or you can take your your hands to the opposite side of elbows. Find a slight sway side to side. Open up through one leg, open up through the other. And we're going to be here for 2 more breaths just to release through the back of the legs. And if you find your weight shifting back a little bit, just take a cognizant moment to shift it into the toes, into the front of the foot. 1 more breath. Inhale, release your arms if you found the cross, and exhale, roll your spine up to standing. Let's take this nice and slow for another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Top of your mat, Tadasana, your Samasthiti here. Ground down through the feet, feel the connection with your mat. And I'd like to take a moment just for you to notice how your mat is feeling today physically. What is the texture of it? What is the temperature of it? Can you notice all 4 corners of both feet connecting with it? And maybe just what that feels like brings you into the present moment just a tiny little bit more. Let's work through 3 Sun A's, and we'll take these nice and controlled. If you're a little more intermediate advanced, feel free to add on, challenge yourself, do whatever it is you need. Inhale, mountain pose, sweep your arms up high, feet are grounding down, press your pelvis forwards, and send your rib cage down towards the hips to engage your torso. Your kneecaps are lifted to engage your lower body. Inside of your elbows facing each other, draw the shoulder blades down to engage your upper body. Fully in control here in your mountain. Inhale. Exhale, hands through heart center, forward fold. Dive on down, hinging at the hips here. Inhale, half lift, fingertips travel to the shins or to the thighs. Send the crown of the head long, creating a nice flat back with your spine. Lift your navel up in towards the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, high plank. Ground down through the hands, 1 foot at a time, step on back, squeeze the thighs together. Let's take a modified vinyasa to begin with, or if you'd like chaturanga, feel free to inhale, exhale, lower all the way down to the mat, shift forward, shoulders over the wrists, gently release down, untuck the toes. Inhale, baby cobra, palms stay grounded, chest lifts up, shine the heart forward, draw the shoulder blades away from the ears, exhale, lower down. Inhale, tuck under the toes, press or kneel yourself back to high plank, and exhale, down dog, wave on up and back. Take 2 breaths in here in your downward facing dog, finding that strong alignment that you found at the beginning of the sequence. Always a chance for you to reconnect with your breath here if you begin to lose it during the ferocity of the flow. Inhale, lift high onto the toes. Exhale, forward fold. Now you can step, baby steps. You can take 1 big step, or if you'd like to, you can find a little float and a little jump. Bend through the knees, land with bent knees to support. Inhale, half lift, lengthen through the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain. As you do, ground down through the heels and the ball mounts of the feet. Make it a strong mountain. Reach the arms high. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, mountain. Sweep everything up. Exhale, forward fold. Dive and release down. Inhale, half lift. We begin to flow a little quicker. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, high plank. Step or jump back, squeeze tight. And exhale, lower all the way down, or chaturanga. You'll hover halfway off the mat, bending through the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Our upward facing dog, knees and thighs off the mat. Heart is shining forward, slight bend through the elbows to support. Inhale, exhale, down dog, wave up and back. 2 breaths here. Then we have 1 more Sun A. Next inhale, lift you high onto the toes. Exhale, forward fold, top of your space. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Last time, inhale, mountain. Exhale, hands through heart center. Keep pressing your pelvis forward. Engage the glutes, even in a standing posture. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Release. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, high plank, however you need to get there. And exhale, work through your vinyasa, lowering all the way down or coming through your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths. One more breath, control it. Inhale, send your gaze towards the palms. Now we're gonna step our feet to the top of the mat, but find a yogi squat malasana. So the feet will come to the outside edges of the hands, and we're gonna drop the bottom down, bending at the knees. Now you can take your heels off the mat if your ankles are feeling a little tight. You can bring the heels down onto the mat, take your hands to heart center. You can also bring your bottom onto a block if that's a little bit more supportive. And we're gonna send the spine long. So once again, crown of the head reaching long, tailbone pointing downwards. I often have this problem where I dump down into my malasana. So if you're the same, just pull yourself out a tiny little bit, engage through the inner thighs. Maybe find a little shift side to side, strong here, shine the heart forward. Now we're gonna go from our malasana, our yogi squat, into our forward fold. So begin to lift your bottom, lengthen out your legs, and as you do, send the toes towards the top of the mat. So it's a little wider than a hip width apart stance, but not as wide as a prasarita or a wide leg forward fold. Take an inhale, exhale, yogi squat. With your fingertips supporting, turn your toes out, drop your bottom down. We're gonna take one more of those. Inhale, forward fold. Exhale, yogi squat. Now this time, inhale, we're gonna rise to standing. So as if we're going from a full depth in a squat in the hole, up and out. Inhale, squeeze the legs, engage the glutes, press the hip bones forward, rise on up, lower down to yogi squat. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise to standing, control. Engage through the hamstrings, press everything up and forward. Inhale, yogi squat, drop it down, cut the hips back. One more time, rise to standing strong, pressing yourself out of the depth. Press the hip bones forward, and then turn the feet towards the top of the mat. Shake out the hips, the legs if you need. Release here. Mama's enjoying the heater. All right, moving into a short little standing sequence. We're gonna find some nice long holds. Once again, if you're intermediate or advanced, find your arm balances, find your inversions. Take this flow as just a beginner sequence and the stencil for what your practice is gonna look like. So grounding both feet down, shift the weight into your right foot, one-legged Tadasana, left leg, bending through the knee, reach it up, arms sweep up by the ears, flex through your right foot. Our right knee is 90 degrees to our hip bones, and our abs are engaged, pulling the right knee in a tiny little bit more, finding that stability, right? Micro bend through the right knee. Find a place in your space that you can gaze to and find control with. One more breath, inhale. Exhale, crescent lunge. We begin to sweep our left foot back, step on back, ground down, bend through right knee in our high lunge. Squaring off the hips, lift high onto the left toes, and then press your left heel back. If you can, track your right knee over your right ankle, press your hip bones up towards the sky as much as possible. Abs need to engage to support this. Right glute is firing up. Don't forget about the left. Strong, squeeze the thighs together. Find your inhale. Exhale, crescent moon. Drop your back knee down. Stay strong on tuck left toes. Now we dive into the lunge a tiny little bit, but try not to just release and dump on down. Stay strong and active through the lunge so that you're supporting your joints here. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, half split. Begin to shift the hips towards the back of the mat, flex through your right toes, and your fingertips will come down to frame your right foot. If you need a little bit more length, if this is a little tight, bring your palms onto blocks. Looking for a squared hip variation here, so we're pulling our right hip back, left hip is coming in line with right,
And flexing through the right toes will help light up the underneath side of your leg. Once again, that long spine, crown of the head forward, tailbone reaching back. Draw the navel in. Relax through the shoulder blades. If you're a little more intermediate or advanced, feel free to find a full split. Find one more breath. Inhale sends us back to crescent moon. We bend through the right knee, plant down through right foot, sweep the arms up high. Exhale, plant the palms down, runner's lunge, tuck under left toes, lift your back knee, pyramid pose. Step your left foot in slightly, 45 degree it out to the left side, ground down through the left heel. Square the hips off. Your fingertips might still be on blocks or they might be grounded down. You're welcome to stay here or maybe find a half lift. Letting the fingertips travel towards down the mat, maybe hands to heart center. Once again, looking for that squared hip variation. So if you need to find a little self-assist, take your hands to the hips. Pull your right hip back. Push your left hip down and forward. Crown of the head reaching long. One more breath wherever you are. Inhale. Exhale, palms come down. Frame right foot. High plank. Step tiny bit back with your left foot. Right foot meets left. An option to work through a vinyasa, or if you need to, just wave back to a downward facing dog. We meet back in our downward facing dog. Take an inhale. Exhale, forward fold, top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Palms can stay by your side. We need to change to the other side. So we ground down through the left foot. Keep pressing your pelvis forward. One-legged Tadasana, right leg. Draw the right knee in towards the chest. Micro bend through the left knee. Flex through your right foot. I can really feel my right oblique engaging. So that's helping me find stability and helping square off my hips and supporting that posture. If you'd like to sweep the arms up by the ears, a little bit more of a balanced challenge, feel free to. One more breath here, inhale. Exhale, crescent lunge, transition your right foot back, ground it down ever so gently and slowly. Almost as if you're a ninja traveling through honey. Two things at once, squeeze the thighs together, press the hip bones forward. Goal is to travel with just such control and grace. That's what's building the strength. Lift the rib cage in, gaze is forward and dive deep into your left knee. One more breath, inhale. Exhale, crescent moon, drop your back knee down. Press the hip bones down and forward. Stay strong in that lunge, don't dump down. Squeeze the glutes. If the left knee begins to splays out a little bit, draw it back into the center line of the body. Inhale. Exhale, half split. Shift the hips back, fingertips come down, frame the foot. Flex left toes back towards the face and take a little moment. Feel free to pull right hip forward, left hip back. It's almost like you're finding a slight up dog shape with the chest, but you stop just before you find that back bend. Taking whatever variation it is that you need. On your inhale, crescent moon, bend through left knee, sweep the arms high, re-engage with the lunge, runner's lunge, fingertips come down, frame left foot, tuck under right toes, lift your back knee. Pyramid pose, step right foot in, 45 degree it out, square off the hips, fingertips can stay floating down, grounded down, or maybe hands to heart center. Your variation of pyramid, whatever works. From your pyramid, fingertips come down, frame left foot, inhale, high plank, exhale, work through your vinyasa or just wave back, downward facing dog. Take whatever variation you need. We meet back in our down dog. One final little sun bee sequence before we begin to chill it out. Inhale, lift high onto the toes, exhale, forward fold, top of your space, travel your way there.
Bring your big toes to touch. Leave a sliver of space between the heels. Inhale, chair pose. Bend the knees. Send the hips down and back as you sweep the biceps up by the ears, creating a single long line between the fingertips and the tailbone, not an anterior pelvic or posterior tilt. We're knitting the rib cage in and finding that single line of energy. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold, release. Let's find that chair pose one more time. Inhale, chair. Let's get really comfy and cozy with it. Breathe deep. Dive a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, work your way through a vinyasa if you'd like to take it, either lowering all the way down or coming through your chaturanga. Exhale, we meet back in our down dog. Inhale, three-leg dog. Right leg sweeps high. Square off the hips. Flex through your right toes. Keep strong through the shoulder blades here, but you'll feel the back of your left leg light on up if your hips are squared. Exhale, low lunge. Step right foot through between the hands. Inhale, warrior one. So our warrior one, you might need to step your left foot out slightly, 45 degrees. It's similar to our pyramid. Our right knee is bent. So it's different from a crescent lunge because in a crescent lunge, our back heel is lifted and maybe our foot stance is a little closer together. In our warrior one, you might need to walk the right toes out just to find that squared hip position of pulling the right hip back, left forward, still pressing the hip bones forward. Reaching the fingertips long. Inhale here. Exhale, warrior two. So now we find that single line between our heels, pressing the pelvis towards the side of the mat. Reach the fingertips long. Our right knee is bent. Gaze comes over right hand. Everything is stacked in a single line. Our hip bones, our rib cage, and our clavicle are all coming down in a single line. Pressing our right knee out to the side. Inhale, reverse warrior. Keep the legs where they are. Just reach the right arm high. Left hand drops back. Find a nice big opening through the right side body. Drop right shoulder away from the ears. Fingertips reaching up towards the sky. Re-engage with your inhale. Exhale, windmill the palms. Frame right foot. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, work through your vinyasa if you'd like it, or just wave back, downward facing dog. Meeting here, we have our left side. Take a moment to ground down. Inhale, left leg sweeps high, three-leg dog. Square off the hips, flex your left toes down towards the mat. Strong through the shoulders. Exhale, low lunge. Step left foot through. Inhale, warrior one. Take a moment to find your setup. Sweep the biceps up by the ears. Left toes might need to walk out. Maybe you need to find a deeper angle with the right foot. Take a little moment. Warrior one is one of those positions that you just need to play around with. Find what works for you. For some people, it doesn't really work at all just because of their hip alignment. I have really wide hips, so my feet need to come really wide. That's how it is. Just go with what works for you. Find your inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Find that train track alignment with your heels. Bend through your left knee. Reach your fingertips long. Right toes facing to the right side. Left toes facing to the top of your mat. I like to twist everything to the side and then bring my neck and my head back on the swivel over my left hand. Inhale, reverse warrior. Sweep left hand high. Stay strong through the obliques. Keep knitting everything in together. Abs are engaged. Inhale. Exhale, windmill the palms. Frame left foot. Inhale takes you to high plank. Exhale works you through your vinyasa. So let's take our sun B sequence 2 more times, a little bit quicker, so you can find a flow and get really comfortable with just knowing the names of postures. Inhale, lift high onto the toes. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Big toes are touching. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, works you through a vinyasa, modified, or through your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's flow. Inhale, three-leg dog, right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, windmill the palms, frame right foot. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, take your vinyasa or leave it. Downward facing dog. Left side, inhale, three-leg dog. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, windmill the palms. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, take or leave your vinyasa. Maybe you just wave back to the down dog, no dramas. Meet with the hips high. Find 2 breaths, releasing or ujjayi. Your opportunity to regain that connection. No judgments if you do lose it. Just come on back. Always an opportunity to come back. Inhale, lift high onto the toes. Our last time, let's flow. Continue to build that heat, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen out, reset. Exhale, fold. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, take or leave your vinyasa. Meet back in your down dog. Last time we flow through our sun B. Inhale, three-leg dog. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, windmill the palms. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, take or leave your vinyasa. Downward facing dog, left side straight away. Inhale, three-leg. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, windmill the palms. Inhale, high plank. Your last opportunity for a vinyasa. Take it or leave it. Modify. Make it harder. Make it advanced. Downward facing dog. And when you're ready, drop your knees down to the mat. Come back and sit on the heels. Just coming off the palms, off the wrists. Take a moment to let the blood flow back down. Breath calm down a tiny little bit. Deep breaths, one more. So we're going to find a camel. I'm going to work through a beginner camel. If you'd like to take a more intermediate or advanced variation, totally your call if you know what you're working towards. Everyone coming up to a high kneeling position, onto the shins, pressing your pelvis forward towards the top of the mat. Knees are going to be hip width apart to support this posture. Untuck the toes. Interlace the hands behind your back and press your knuckles down towards the calves. So you're opening through the shoulder blades, which is allowing an introduction to the back bend, right? It's going to make it a little easier. If you've lost the breath, inhale, exhale, shine the heart forward, draw the knuckles down towards the calves a little more. Back bend is coming from the upper spine instead of the lower back. Squeeze the glutes, press the hip bones forward, inhale, exhale, coming up, release the interlace, shake it out. In your camel, you're always welcome to release your interlace and drop your hands down towards the heels or the ankles, but we're just keeping it nice and controlled today. Drop the bottom down in between the feet. You're most welcome to bring a block to sit on if you prefer, into our hero's pose.
Modified variation is sitting on a block, staying upright. Second variation, dropping your bottom down, keeping your knees facing towards the top of the mat and staying nice and strong and controlled here. If you'd like to begin to walk the hands back, find a reclined variation of hero's pose. You might like to hold on the forearms. Or if you have the full posture, lowering the back all the way down to the mat. If you take that variation, please be very mindful of your knee joint. Just going to where it feels comfortable. And we're going to spend 3 more breaths here just to release, open up through the front of the legs, the pelvis. One more breath. If you are fully reclined, gently making your way onto the forearms, pressing yourself up onto the hands, and meeting our friends back in the first variation. Release your block from underneath you. If you have one, swing the legs around in front of you for a seated forward fold. Legs are coming together. Toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. Give the legs a little shake if you need. Once again, that long spine, crown of the head reaching upwards. Inhale, sweep the fingertips high. Exhale, begin to find your fold, hinging at the hips. We're not rounding through the spine. We're sending that long spine forward as if you were trying to propel everything towards the front of your mat instead of rounding. And it might not be a super deep fold. I get that comment a lot. I don't have a deep forward fold. I'll never be able to touch my toes. I'll never be able to lower all the way down. That's okay. It really doesn't matter. It's all about that integrity with your alignment. So if your spine is long, you're pressing your tailbone back and your crown of the head long, you're doing the seated forward fold. Digging the heels into the mat. Flexing through the toes, lengthening out through the back of the legs, all the way up into the glute space. Take one more breath. And on your inhale, lift up and out of your fold. Plant your feet down, lower your back down to the mat. We're going to take one last little core fire burner just to make sure our abs are fully engaged. We've really worked the whole body. I really like to target them just in any kind of flow, just to make sure that everything's nice and strong and controlled. So for this little mini sequence, we're gonna take a bridge lift up, drop it down, interlace the hands behind your head, we crunch up, face towards the ceiling, come down. All right, we'll go in 3, 2, 1. We bridge, take it down, we crunch, take it down, we bridge, take it down, we crunch, take it down, keep going. Feel free to find your own pace. Maybe you'd like to find a longer hold, but try to find that little catch of each posture at the top point, right? So we crunch and hold for a tiny little second, drop it down. We bridge, hold for a tiny little second, everything is engaged. Drop it down, keep going, crunch, take it down, we bridge, take it down, we crunch, take it down, we bridge, take it down. Make it harder by bringing a block in between the knees. Maybe reaching the fingertips up towards the sky. Maybe you'd even like to come onto the toes for your bridges. Wherever you go, squeeze the glutes, press the pelvis high, drop it down. Crunch it up, face to the ceiling, drop it down. Lower back is planted on the mat. Lift high, drop down. Crunch, drop down. Let's take 2 more full rounds. Bridge, down, find your crunch. Take it down. Last round, let's hold. Bridge here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Inhale, press higher. 1, exhale, lower down. We find our crunch straight away. We hold for 5, 4, 3, here for 3, higher for 2, higher for 2,
1, exhale, lower all the way down. Knock your knees in towards each other. Walk the feet out to the edges of the mat. Let the lower back plant down, the shoulder blades release. Find 2 big releasing breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh, sink into your mat. 1 more inhale. Exhale, sigh and sink. Find 1 more inhale. Exhale, drop the knees over to the left. Variation of a twist. So our feet are apart. Take your arms out into a T shape and drop your head over to the right. Just 4 breaths here. I really encourage you, for wherever you're at in your yoga journey, whether you're just beginning, this is something quite foreign and new to you, or whether you're quite advanced and you took something that was out of your wheelhouse today. You showed up and you committed. And I really believe that's what this journey is all about. Inhale, come back through center, drop your hips over to the left as the knees drop over to the right. Gaze comes over to the left side. It's really not about how flexible or perfect our poses look. It's not about the clothes we wear. It's really about giving you the tools to listen to yourself, listen to your body, your intuition, trusting yourself, and having a little bit of fun and play, right? Like, we forget to enjoy movement. Especially this new year, we're all thinking about our resolutions and I've got to do this, I've got to do that. But we can always ease into everything. We do not have to, work out 5-6 days a week from January 1st. We can ease into it. We can take it nice and slow. We can come from a place of compassion with ourselves before we scale up our performance. 1 more breath, coming back through center. Finding a Shavasana, send your legs long. You can keep your arms in this T shape, or maybe there's somewhere else that feels comforting and safe to you. I'm opting for a palms on the belly. Feeling my inhales and exhales. And let's find a few moments of Shavasana to gaze inwards, be with our own breath and body. If this Shavasana is something you need for a little longer, feel free to stay here even after this class ends. But I will leave you here with gratitude for the practice of yoga, gratitude for all of you for committing, being here, no matter what stage of your journey you are in. Just making that tiny little commitment to yourself every day really adds up. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. I'll leave you with namaste.